Beautiful souls, welcome back to Authentically Me. And I'm diving in deep this episode. I don't really know what I'm going to title it yet, but I know exactly what I want to say, what's coming through me at this point. So I'm going to allow it to flow and then, yeah, make some type of subject at the end of it. I know that there are so many women out there who have listened to the podcasts, have followed all the self-help books out there, followed so many influencers, yet still, when it comes to taking a step forward in their life, there's something stopping them, like something standing in the way, and there is nothing making logical sense as to what it is. They think they've done all the work. Side note, this work never stops. I'm telling you this now. 3 years on the journey, and I sometimes feel like I'm all the way back at day one. This is part of the process. It's like an onion. You take off all the different layers and you find out new things. Even some of the things that you think that you've healed from in the past, you will get a different layer. Why? Because you will only be exposed to the trauma or the conditioning that you are prepared emotionally and mentally to deal with at that point. As you evolve deeper and deeper and deeper on this journey, you will be given more aspects of your past to heal from that you are capable of holding at that point. So, as example, at the beginning of my journey, when I looked at my childhood, I was like, oh, there's only about 4 or 5 different things that I need to heal from. That's fine. Now I am here 3 years later, probably healed from about 20 or 30 different things because that's what's been exposed to me now because of where I'm now at in my journey. I have so much more capacity to hold so many different emotions now, and I have so much more of a deeper understanding of the programming that my inner child went through and I did it within my childhood to be able to undo that and reparent myself and reconnect myself back to my power again through the different perception now that I can view from. Like, I must admit, I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, but I'm very good at understanding every single different person's perspectives now whenever a situation happens, even including my own life. Because when you're coming from a place of why me, you will only ever see what's actually happened to you. You won't actually be able to see the reasons behind the actions of the person in front of you. And this is where having an outsider's perspective is really, really important on this healing journey. Because the one thing that could actually be blocking you is having the right perception of the other person in the situation that you're trying to heal. Because when you're re-looking at pain, you will take yourself back to that painful situation again. And especially with people like us who have such kind hearts, can't always understand the darkness of other people. I nearly said evil then, but it's not evil. It's just darkness. It's the dark side of any person because you have the light and you have the dark. You have the good and the bad. But there is no real good and bad because bad only happens because of how people have been programmed in their own life growing up. None of us were born as bad people. I truly believe that. It's how society and the people around us have programmed us to be, you know? So when us as people with kind hearts can't see the darkness in another, it makes us really struggle to understand why this person gave us this pain. Like, what's wrong with me? But it's not always necessarily about what's wrong with you. And this is why it's key to have the perception of the other side. And also, it's key to allow the emotion that you felt at that point to process. Because when you don't allow that emotion to process, it gets stuck. Okay? And the best way for me to describe this actually is like a sewage, not a sewage pipe, but a pipe, a water pipe. Okay? So if you keep putting oily foods or oil from the oven down the sink, all of that fat is going to keep building up and building up and building up. And then in the end, you're going to have a blocked pipe. Okay. So the oil itself is like pain. If you keep having pain happening in your life, the pain is going to build up and build up and build up and create a blockage. And then when you have that blockage, it's then going to create a build up until it all bubbles to the surface, and then boom, you need someone to come and fix it. And it's the same as the sink, as our bodies, because emotions are energy in motion. If you are not allowing the energy itself to move, because that's what it naturally does, it moves. If you don't allow it to do it, it's going to get stuck. And I truly believe, through everything that I've researched and my own close experiences with a person in my own life who has a neurological condition, that emotions that are caused by wounding as a child, pain as a child, when they are not looked at and processed, it causes health problems as a result. You can't imagine how incredible our bodies are. I know now that whenever I have fear or whenever I'm anxious, that emotion itself centers around my colon, the digestive system. As soon as any fear comes up, my colon just, ugh, and then I'm sick for a few days. I know automatically when certain emotions are being processed through my body and the work that I need to do, because I'm so in touch with my body now. Because I have not only disconnected from my mind, I've reconnected to my heart. When I've reconnected to my heart and my power, I've reconnected to the rest of my body. This is the process. Many of us have done the logical side, which is understanding the podcasts, the self-help books. That's understanding everything from here up. Everything in your mind. How about understanding the body, the the biggest part of you? You're only going to do that when you start to feel, start to reconnect to it, start to have awareness about it. And when you have that awareness, you can then start truly processing things, understanding how your nervous system works, understand that different pain and emotion has different feelings within your body. Because this is the one thing, especially as women, that we avoid. We avoid the feeling of pain, not the stories of what pain tells us. That's the next part of the cycle. Because any emotion has a cycle to it. First of all, you feel the emotion in your body, which then activates your brain, and then your brain takes you back to the first time that you felt that pain, tells you all the stories that you learn in the past about pain. Then you then see your world through the eyes of the stories that you gained in the past, which then creates your external reality. Pretty powerful cycle, huh? That's why sometimes if you look at people and how they express themselves in arguments and people act like a child, it's because literally that pain that they felt in that argument in their body has taken their mind all the way back to when they was a child and they felt it for the first time. And then they will act out exactly the same as that child because that situation in the past hasn't been healed by them. This is why this work is so transformational and so important. Because when you can then access, when your body feels something, you can actually change the cycle. You can re-rail. Is it re-rail? Derail? Get on the other side of the other rail? You know the thing with the for a train when you need to change the track, change the rail track. That's what you do. When you are so connected to your body and you're connected to knowing the pain, how the emotion feels within, you can then completely change the track that you then react to that pain. Because the pain itself is not actually the issue. It's what the pain makes you do. And it's only when you actually change the course of what pain is doing can you then completely change how you are as a person right now. I'm going to give you an example of this, especially in relationships. If you are coming from experiencing bad relationships in the past, you will have a fear of being heartbroken. That is very normal. It's a very valid fear to have. But again, it's how you deal with that. So when you have that fear, you will take certain steps to be cautious of not feeling that pain, which actually takes you away from the person that you are. But in that process, because you're so in fear of it, you're actually seeing everything through that lens. So then the person in front of you could say something which is very normal to any other person, but because you're seeing it through a fear of heartbreak, you will actually understand that the words of that person or the actions of that person mean that they're going to hurt you. As soon as you understand the words through that lens, you will then have the pain, the heartbreak pain in your body, which will then trigger the storage, which will then trigger the emotion, which will then, 9 times out of 10, stop the relationship that you're in. It won't be able to move forward because that fear itself is trapping you, not actually back to the previous relationship where you received the heartbreak. It's actually the relationship that you very first experienced the heartbreak in, which is 9 times out of 10, the relationship that you had with your dad. That was my first heartbreak, was the relationship with my dad. Your relationship with your dad is your very first example of love and your very first example of what is a man. And if these two examples are not healthy, 9 times out of 10, what you actually receive in your life will not be healthy. Because what you experienced as a child is your normal. So when someone healthy comes along, your normal is unhealthy, so you won't actually see the healthy side of that person. Because the view, your mental view, your mental glasses of heartbreak is not allowing you to see that. It's only when you actually go back to the first heartbreak and you understand the depth of the relationship with your dad, you will actually realize that the heartbreak that you went through at that time is actually telling you a very important truth that you need to embody in order to find your one true love. That's what I've learned in my journey. All the heartbreak that you've been through is actually teaching you how to find true love. But we don't focus on that part. We just focus on the heartbreak because that was the most painful thing. But was it truly painful? It's learning that there's good and bad in everything, but there isn't actually good and bad. It's all the same. Everything is an emotion with a lesson. If I'm happy, that's teaching me that that's what brings me to happiness. So I'm going to do that more. When I go into heartbreak, what's that teaching me? That's teaching me what I don't want anymore. That's it. And when we look at it from this lens, again, everything changes because you're tapping into your power, your truth, your choice, and your voice. And when you look at it from this perspective, you are tapping into your power of choice. Do you want to look at it as the worst thing that's happened to you, or do you want to look at it as a lesson? When you look at it as the worst thing that's ever happened to you, all you're going to do is go down and down and down. When you look at it as a lesson, you're just going to grow from every single thing that happens to you in your life. That's my life right now. Every single thing that happens to me, I'm so thankful for it because not only is it building my own truth bank, it's enabling me to really understand the meaning of being a human and living a human experience and living life. Because that's what we're here to do. We're just here to live life and enjoy it and learn from it. That's it. And return back to the person that we were put here to be. We come here knowing who we are, we lose ourselves, and then it's up to us to then bring ourselves back. I actually believe that that is the reason for life, really, because the more lessons we learn, the more we can provide to other people, which is going to help every single person be in the best version of themselves, the truest version of themselves. That's it. So, yeah, I felt like I needed to say that. I hope that's helped whoever's listened to this. And yeah, if you are listening to this knowing that there is a certain block and you do want to take your journey of self development even deeper, you want to process these emotions of the past that are holding you back, then I am your girl. I would love to support you through it. I have a fantastic mentorship where we can go on a journey of 3, 6, or 12 months together and we can really unravel you from the pain of your past to enable you to tap in to your insane feminine power within you. So, if you want more details or you want to jump on a free 30-minute consultation call with me, the link is in the show notes below. I always like to have 30-minute consultation calls with my clients before I start, just to outline exactly where they want to go on their journey, for us to meet each other and get to know each other, just to make sure that you feel that I am the right person to take you where you want to go. And I will then go deeper into advising you exactly how I can support you in tapping into your power going forward. So, yeah, all the information is below and on my website. And as always, keep smiling, keep shining, my gorgeous souls, and I will see you on the next episode.